Alright, let's continue with slow. Here's slow. Here's slow. And day 2 begins. I was having a dream. Seemed like I was in some kind of vacuum with nothing but nothing around me. Not only around, I was the only creature in the universe. As if the universe had returned to a state of singularity right before the Big Bang, and something was just about to happen. Suddenly, I heard a voice. I couldn't make out the words, but it sounded familiar. The voice was whispering something gently, as if soothing me, and then I realized it was the voice of that strange girl from the bus, the girl from the dream. What is she trying to tell me? Who is she? I woke up. Bright sunlight struck my eyes. It was almost noon. After stretching lazily on the bed and yawning, I started to recall the previous day. In a few seconds, all its events passed before my eyes: the bus, the camp, the local inhabitants. No, that's just wrong. Not this whole situation, not me being here. It was wrong by default. My attitude towards what was happening was wrong. Because yesterday I fell asleep here just like that, and before that I chatted nicely with the local pioneers, even managed to crack a few jokes. How could I act like that in such a situation? I should be frightened, startled by every little rustling, should avoid all contact with the potentially hostile creatures. The last day's events were getting hazy, like I had a hangover. This really feels like the morning after a heavy drinking party. Yesterday's natural, flawless, absolutely normal contact becomes a nightmare in the morning, a grotesque illustration from the Divine Comedy. Yes, it's just like that, and I can't change the past now. And then again, I had probably assessed the situation and was acting accordingly. I glanced around, trying to figure out whether I had been thrown somewhere else, but Olga Dmitrievna's cabin looked the same as yesterday. Everything seemed to be in its place except for a pioneer uniform which was hanging from the bed head. I fumbled with it in distrust and tried it on. At least this is better than walking around in winter clothes. Wish I could see myself, but I look like a clown, and for that I needed a mirror, at least a tiny one. I finally found one on the wardrobe door. Holy! I looked at the newfound pioneer and jumped away in surprise. There was some teenager on the other side of the mirror. He resembled me, but he wasn't me. Where did the weak stubble go? Where were the bags under my eyes, the slouch, the deathly fatigue on my face? It seemed that I had not been thrown back in time or into a parallel reality, but instead had simply changed bodies with someone else. Right, that's real simple. Such things happen every day. I took a closer look at this stranger, and only then I realized that it actually was me. It just wasn't today's me, maybe the one from between my school and university years. Well, at least that's something. There you go, the person in an extreme situation did fail to notice the elephant in the room, after all. But the camp leader noticed it, and last night she told me off for addressing her without proper respect. Screw that. I doubt my appearance affects anything else. If the clock was not lying, breakfast was long over. Oh well, I'll try to find something in the canteen. It worked out well yesterday with Slavia, didn't it? Those memories made me smile involuntarily. The sun was shining brightly outside, a light breeze was blowing. Beautiful summer day. I had not felt so good in the morning for several years. All problems were gone, vanished into clouds that were white as snow. Olga Dmitrievna came out of nowhere. "Good morning, Semyon." "Morning." I smiled, doing my best to show that no matter what, my morning was indeed good. "You only arrived yesterday, so I decided not to wake you up, but breakfast—" "Never mind. Here, take this." She handed me something wrapped in paper. Judging by the oily stains, there had to be sandwiches inside. "Oh, thank you." "Now go wash yourself." I was about to leave. "Wait a second." Olga Dmitrievna quickly ran into the house and came out to shove a small bag into my hands. Inside it I found a toothbrush, soap, a small towel, and something else. I didn't look too closely. A pioneer should always be clean and tidy. "Let me do your neckerchief properly this first time. Yours is askew. You should do it yourself once you learn how to." "Do we have to? I'm going to wash myself now." "Yeah, right. It could get hooked on a tap and strangle me." "Fine, later then. And don't forget about the lineup. Pencils, paper, drawing lines." "You don't forget such things." "What lineup?" "What do you mean, what lineup?" She frowned. "It's Monday today." Weird. By my approximation it should have been Sunday. Then again, a shift in the day of the week is hardly the worst thing. Usually we have lineups early in the morning before breakfast, but it's Monday today, so we are having it at 12 o'clock. "Don't be late." "Alright, but where?" "At the square. Where else?" There was no reason to argue. I headed to the bathing place. I knew I could forget about separate showers and toilet, but at the sight of this malfunctioning symptom of decaying socialism, a funny turtle with a tin shell, paw taps, and a ceramic belly, I felt sick. I was not a squeamish person, but nevertheless, standing there, I realized that there was still some minimal level of habitual comfort, which I found it troublesome to do without. It is often like that. When you lose things that you thought were ordinary and common, you suddenly understand just how essential they were. Screw this, as if I have any choice. The water was ice cold. While washing my hands was not an issue, washing my face and my mouth became a big problem. There was no toothpaste in the bag which Olga Dmitrievna gave me. I could brush my teeth without it, but there was a small round box wrapped in a towel. Tooth powder. Cute, 1 point for me being somewhere in the past. I washed myself quite quickly, also due to the ice-cold water. Someone was coming quickly, or more like running towards me. I turned around. It was Slavia dressed in a tracksuit. This girl would probably look good in anything, pioneer uniform, bikini, probably even a spacesuit. "Hey there." "Oh, hiya. What's up?" Good morning." "Yeah." "Oh yeah, real smooth." "Why didn't you come for breakfast?" "I overslept." I said it as if I was proud about it. "But Olga Dmitrievna gave me some sandwiches." "Oh great then. Don't forget about the lineup." "Yeah, sure." As if I could forget. "Right, I gotta run. Enjoy yourself." She waved goodbye to me and disappeared around the path's bend. Looks like it's a couple of minutes until the lineup. I should quickly pass by my home to drop off my washing bag and eat the sandwiches and then head to the square. I swung open the door of the camp leader's cabin and rushed inside as if jumping into the last car of a departing train. "Hello." It didn't turn out to be the best idea because inside I found Olga Dmitrievna, who was changing. I froze on the spot, trying not to breathe. Finally, the camp leader noticed me. Semyon, I looked away immediately. Have you ever heard of knocking? Now get out. Yeah, that was real clumsy. Although I did enjoy the sight. Olga Dmitrievna followed me out in a minute. Here, take this. Now it's your home too. She handed me a key. I put it in my pocket. Home. Of course, if you disregard how fantastical the current events were. This camp was far from being the worst place on earth, but to call it home, just after one day spent here, I doubt I'll ever be able to do so. Alright, let's go, we're late. What about the sandwiches? Just eat them on the way. We were passing along the lines of the pioneers' cabins while I was tucking into the ham sandwiches, and Olga Dmitrievna kept on talking and talking. She was buzzing like a game of Operation with Parkinson's. But I cared about nothing but the food. Understood? Huh? You weren't listening. Sorry. Today's the first day of your new life as a pioneer, and you should do your best so that it becomes a happy life. Yeah, definitely. I'm serious. A pioneer has many duties, great responsibilities conferred upon him: to participate in social work, to help his juniors, to study and study and study again. We here are all like one big family, and you will become a part of it. Yeah, a part. I'd even sign a party membership card if it could save me from listening to this nonsense. I hope that that after your term here is over, you'll keep the most pleasant memories about our camp, memories that will last your whole life. And when will this term end? Why do you keep asking silly things? It seems I won't get any information from her. A shame, really. This world appears to be so friendly, but it never bothered to introduce itself to me. Perhaps now I can take things somewhat easier than yesterday. It seems like I have some unspoken ceasefire with it. It isn't trying to hurt me, but I'm forbidden from asking questions. Of course, the situation isn't a pleasant one, but what can I do about it? A bad peace is better than a good dispute. The most important thing for you now is to make the best of the time you will spend here. I'll do my best. Honestly, I was very tired of this conversation. It would be good to know where that here is, but... We came to the square. The pioneers were already lined up. What? Is somebody not here yet? Nope, all here. She looked around at her brave pioneer troops. Alright, go stand somewhere. Weird. Why did she tell me there are no more sleeping places? While the chief was running her mouth about our plans for the week, I stared at the people. A few heads away from me stood Electronic, a little further, Lena and Slavia, and at the end of the line, Uliana and Alisa. Everyone I had met was here. Olga Dmitrievna spoke about some competitions, and I turned my attention to the monument. Genda. I couldn't remember any revolutionary with a similar name. He had a weird posture too, as if he was looking around with distrust, with maybe contempt or even disdain. Probably some local leader. Daydreaming again? Slava brought me back to reality. Olga Dmitrievna stood nearby. Still remember the plan for the week? The plan? I will never forget the plan. Perfect. She looked at Slavia. Did you bring it? Yes, Slava handed me a piece of paper. It's a checklist. Here are 4 tasks to check off. Do it all today. Before you start, sign up for a club. There are some clubs in a clubhouse and a musical club in a separate building. And then visit the infirmary. And finally, visit the library. Got it? Yes. The checklist seemed like a good chance to find out something, since I had to go to places I hadn't been before. Then come on, start right now. What about lunch? Don't worry, I'll bring you more sandwiches. The checklist is more important. Good luck. They departed too fast for me to ask anything else. Missed breakfast? No. Miss lunch too? This ain't good. Maybe I'll manage it in time somehow. Lunch starts at 1 p.m. And then again, if I'll go there, I might miss a place from the checklist. Okay, it's too early to go to the canteen anyway. Okay, a map of the whole area. So we are at the square, and we need to go to the yellow places. Library, infirmary, canteen, music club, and clubhouse. Since it doesn't make sense to go to the canteen yet, let's go here. It's close as well. What's the point of visiting the infirmary? My health was fine. The fresh local air clearly did me some good. I felt fresher than usual, but I just have to visit it. I entered. A common infirmary, like my school doctor's room. A middle-aged woman sat at the table. Middle-aged? She looks pretty young to me. Obviously she was a nurse. She gazed intently at me, assessing me, while continuing to write something. Well, hello, pioneer, said the nurse without being distracted from her work. Good afternoon, ma'am. I have something. Sit down, please. I looked around the room. On the couch. I sat down. Strip. Oh, I like it already, she said, all of it with an even tone. What for? To inspect, to auscultate, to check on your health, you know. By the way, my name is Violetta, but you can call me Viola. She turned to me. What are you waiting for, Strip? But I have no health issues. I've got this. I neatly gave her the paper. Later. She took the stethoscope off her neck, seeming like she intended to probe me with it. But then someone knocked on the door. The nurse answered unwillingly. Come in. In a moment the door opened widely and Electronic rushed inside. Hello, I fell during the football game. Nonsense, of course, I'm okay, but Olga Dmitrievna, there was a massive bruise under Electronic's eye. I doubt that this could be a football injury. Sit down, I'll have a look, she said to him. And you pass me your checklist. The nurse quickly signed it and continued. If something hurts, come to me immediately. Pioneer. Does she keep saying that? Does she know something, that we're not a real pioneer? I decided not to answer and went out, closing the door behind me. That nurse is surely something else. We'll go to the library next. Actually, I love reading, but spending my days in a library under the current circumstances was well beyond my scope, so I'd better hurry up with the checkpoint. As I stepped inside, a memory from my childhood emerged in my head. It was very vivid. I'm 7 or 8 years old. I'm at the library with my mother. While she's looking through the books I might need for my studies, I'm sitting in the corner and looking through there. collection of comic books. Back then I didn't know why I had so many, or why couldn't I take some with me. The notion of collective property was something my mind hadn't grasped yet at that age. However, back then, the whole concept of property was pretty hazy to me. This memory seemed even stranger now, while I was standing in this particular camp, where they might have managed to build communism in 3 years. Soviet symbolism was all over the place, and the shelves were full of related literature. Of course, I wasn't planning to read any of these. Getting acquainted with a full collection of books by Marx was the last thing on earth I would think of. Where's the librarian? I didn't spend much time looking for her. She's asleep. I looked closely. Short hair, thick glasses, rather cute face. She was snoring so peacefully I couldn't just wake her up. I can wait. If she doesn't wake up in half an hour, maybe then. I couldn't just sit there, so I took a random book from the nearest bookshelf. Arthur Schopenhauer, The World as Will and Representation. All right, nice. I opened it roughly in the middle and started reading. The life of a man with its endless upkeep, wants, and suffering is to be regarded as the explanation and paraphrase of the procreative act, it as the absolute claim of the will to live, and furthermore it is also the reason the man owes nature his death, and thinks with anxiety of this death. Is this not the evidence that our existence involves guilt? At any rate, we always exist from time to time, paying with death for our birth. We always exist and alternately bear all the joy and sorrow of life, since neither of both can pass us without some effect. That is a result of our stated will to live. Thus the fear of death, which in spite of all the miseries of life holds us firmly to it, is really elusive. But just as elusive is the impulse which has attracted us into it. This attraction itself may be seen objectively as the mutual longing glances of two lovers. They are the purest expression of the will to live, in its affirmation. How gentle and tender it is. It wants happiness and quiet pleasure and mild joys for itself, for others, for all. Someone knocked on the door. I closed the book quickly and put it back in its place. What a nice habit, knocking on the door. I should pick it up. It was Lena. Oh. Hi. I smiled. Hi, I just wanted to return a book. She had the copy of Gone with the Wind that I saw yesterday. Oh, Zhenya is sleeping. I'll come back later. I'm awake. I turned around in surprise to look at her. She eyed me closely from behind her table. What is it you wanted? I need you to check here. Give it here. She quickly signed the paper and gave it back to me. She had this look on her face that made me want to keep quiet. Lena came up to her and to return her book. I thanked Zhenya and went out. Let's go to the music club. The music club, a small one-level building, was located some distance from the other camp buildings. I opened the door and entered without hesitation. There were enough instruments for a whole orchestra here, drums, guitars, even a piano. I spent some time looking closely at every instrument, wanting to guess the time period they were from, but suddenly I heard a crawling sound coming from underneath the piano. A girl. It seems like she was looking for something. She was standing on all fours in such a suggestive pose that I hesitated to speak at first. Excuse me? Ah, who's there? She tried to stand up, but the bottom of the piano prevented her from doing so. Ouch! she struggled out. Sorry I scared you. It's nothing. Oh, you got a checklist, you must be new here. Yes. My name is Miko. No, really, I'm serious. Nobody believes me, but it's my real name. My mother is Japanese. My dad met her when he was building... Well, it wasn't him who was building. He's an engineer. And he was working on a nuclear power plant there, or a dam, or a bridge, whatever. Those are very different things, you know. She was talking so fast she swallowed half the words she tried to pronounce. I'm Simeon. Great, want to be in our club? It's only me here now, but it will be two of us then. Do you play anything? When I became antisocial, I bought a guitar and learned a few chords, but then I forgot about it since I quit everything that required more than a couple of hours to learn. You know, I wasn't planning to do anything like that, really. Oh, it's okay, I'll teach you. Maybe a trumpet, for example. How about a violin? I know it all, honestly. There was no point in arguing with the orchestra girl, since there was only another cascade of words waiting to blast at me. Hey, I'll think about it. Can you just sign it for now? Yes, sure, give it to me. Be sure to come around. I sing too. I'll sing you some Japanese folk songs, or maybe if you're not into that, something more contemporary. Sure, thanks, gotta go now. Of course, come anytime. The end of her sentence stayed inside. It might be nice to hang around with a guitar in the evening, but in such company? Oh, come on, she wasn't that bad. I turned to leave and came face to face with Alyssa. She eyed me suspiciously. Why did you come? The checklist. Got it signed? Yes. Then move it. Alyssa went inside and I hurried to leave the place. Okay, one more place to visit. I went to the clubhouse. To tell the truth, I never really liked extracurricular activities. At school I used to find any excuse to skip extra classes. At university I had no interest in participating in the student council. I wasn't interested in boxing, aeromodeling or sewing, so I came here just to check off the box. Nobody was there. I found myself in something like a hut of a junior robot enthusiast. There were wires and simple printed circuits scattered everywhere, chips, and on the table proudly stood an oscillograph. I heard voices from another room, and then two pioneers appeared. One was electronic, and the other one I didn't know. Hi Simeon, we've been expecting you. Seems he knows everything about everyone. Why were you expecting me? Well, of course, because you came to sign up to our cybernetics club, didn't you? He didn't let me answer. And this is Shurik, he's in charge here. I assume there's only two of you in the club. Well, you can say that it's three now. Shurik came up to me and assertively offered his hand. His face was somewhat familiar. Welcome to the club. Yep. Now I'll show you around. Make yourself at home. Guys, I just wanted to... We're always welcoming new members. He said it in such a way that the anthem of the Soviet Union suddenly started playing in my head. It's amazing I even remembered the words. In first grade I had a textbook with the lyrics in the back. No, I just wanted you to sign my checklist. Yep, you sign up to the club, we'll sign your checklist. He grinned. I was getting ready for a long and boring argument, but then I heard someone enter. I looked back and saw Slavia. Simeon, I hope they're not giving you any trouble. She narrowed her eyes, looking at the future of the motherland's robotics industry. I know these two. They can. Well, you know, actually, I just need to get my checklist signed. I decided to take advantage of the situation. No problem, give it to me. Slavia took the paper and marched up to Shurik. Sign it. Hold on, we're not done yet. You're done. Sign it now. She gave Shurik such a threatening look that it made him lose every possible objection. He wrote some squiggles on the checklist. I thanked Slavia, then I moved on in a mellow mood. Finally, I got all the signatures. Now I had to go back to Olga Dmitrievna and give it to her. She was sitting in front of her cabin reading a book. It doesn't look like a good role model for the perfect pioneer that she was planning to turn me into. I wonder if her responsibilities extended beyond giving fiery speeches at the lineup, scolding Uliana, and getting involved into my moral, physical, and ideological growth. Here, I offered her my checklist. She placed it in her pocket without even looking at the signatures. Great, I could have just signed it myself without going anywhere. Perfect, so did you meet our nurse? Yes. For some reason her question sent shivers down my spine. Which club have you signed up for? I didn't, I need to think first. That's a pity. It's vital for you to sign in somewhere tomorrow. Of course, sure. Right, it's time to go to dinner. About time, I was getting hungry. I headed to the canteen together with Olga Dmitrievna. I looked at the sky and noticed that sun was already setting. On the porch stood Alessa, Electronic, Uliana and Slavia. As we came up, I heard what they were talking about. And never call me Dvache again, or you'll get another one. I didn't call you that, you're hearing things. He did, I heard it all. You weren't even there. I was, in the bushes. Come on you guys, stop it. So it wasn't a football injury Electronic suffered earlier today. The nurse did a good job, I couldn't even see his black eye. Olga Dmitrievna came up to them and asked about the ruckus. What happened? Lisa and Chisikov. I didn't do anything. She shrugged with antipathy and went inside. Right. Dinner time. I entered last. There weren't too many free seats. There were few free chairs near Alessa across the canteen, but I'd sooner starve for a week or two than risk my head near her. There was also a seat near Uliana, but I'm not into traditional Chinese, whatever crawls cuisine. Finally, a free chair near Miku. Looks like I'll have to pick my poison. You mind if I sit here? Oh yeah, sure. No, I don't mind. Yeah, you can sit here. I sat down. Look, it's buckwheat today. Do you like buckwheat? And chicken? I don't like chicken. Well, not that I don't like it. But if you'd ask me what I'd prefer, I'd say... What would I prefer? Say stroganoff beef or ragu? No, maybe just a hamburger or rump steak. Do you like rump steak? I'm not that picky about my food, and that was the simple truth. Oh, is that so? But the desserts, they aren't really good here. I like ice cream. Do you like ice cream? I just love 48 Kopecks and Leningradskaya. Oh, sorry, I keep talking about myself. 48 Kopecks and Leningradskaya ice cream brands popular in late Soviet Union. So we are back in the past. Maybe you like Eskimo better. Dinner was starting to get on my nerves thanks to such company, and I'm not the kind of person who can just ignore someone who's talking to them. Even her. We're at the same table after all. I once brought a waffle cone and started eating, and then you know what? I found a screw there, a real screw. Can you imagine that? Or was it a bolt? I don't really know. Screws are those you can tighten with screwdrivers, and bolts are those that you turn with a wrench, yes? If there was a speed eating contest going on, I would probably be in the top 3 winners by now. Right, I'll be going, enjoy your meal. I got up and headed outside. Mika was saying something, but her words were drowned by the crowd of loudly dining pioneers. I went out and sat on the stairs, waiting for my dinner to settle down a bit. I just sat there and watched night falling. Everything is so lively here during the day, kids laughing and yelling happily, fooling and running around, constant chatter, games going on, and swimming at the beach. But after dark, the camp changes entirely. The sounds of day were swapped for silence, only now and then broken by crickets chirping or a night bird. The camp was going to sleep. In every shadow you could see things, maybe a ghost or a spirit of the forest or a wild animal. A human being would be the last thing to expect. That is how it looked last night, and now. The locals followed their routine very strictly. In the day the camp was theirs, in the night it belonged more to the forces of nature than to humans. Someone touched my shoulder. I looked back. It was electronic. Let's go play cards. Cards? Yep, I invented a new game, a good one. Good? Like how? Well, first we got to find the cards, then I'll tell you. And go find them, what's the problem? Only Olga Dmitrievna has them, and she won't give them to me. Why so? Well, the last time when Olga Dmitrievna and Slavia came out onto the porch. Olga Dmitrievna, Semyon just wanted to ask you about the possibility of getting playing cards. Actually, for what purpose? We invented a new game. Not we, you did. What game? I need the cards to show you. I don't like this. Well, if Semyon is with you, then perhaps it's okay. To be really honest, we'll go fetch them together, Olga Dmitrievna. Go get cards with Slavia or go alone. Sure, I like her company. Why not? If you don't mind. Sure, let's go. We headed towards my cabin. Roughly halfway there, Slavia stopped. I just remembered the cards are in my cabin. Good timing. And where's that? It's just down the road. Let's go. We reached a cabin that in fact looked more like a trailer. Just wait here for a minute. I'll be back. It took her just a few seconds to come back. There. She showed me a deck of pretty worn-out cards. These must be marked in and out. That's unsportsmanlike. What happened to fair play? Tell me about it. It's hard to cheat when you don't know the rules. Shall we go? Let's go. On our way back, I decided to try and find out about something. How long have you been here? In this camp? About a week? I see. And where did you come from? I'm from the north. Well, that's specific. That is... cold north. Well, maybe she just doesn't want us to know where she's from. She looked at me and smiled. Looks like nobody in this camp is inclined to answer even the most innocent of questions. I tried to approach from another angle. What do you like? What do you mean? Well, your hobbies. Oh, I like nature. Strange, she's not very talkative today for some reason. Nature, I see. Want to become a natural historian? More like a normal historian. I was always interested in our nation's history. That would suit her well, indeed. It appeared that among all the locals, she was the only one who had nothing to hide. What if she came here just like me and simply could not trust anyone enough to tell? I tried testing the waters. And why did you choose this camp? I didn't. My parents got a voucher for me from their work. Another failure. Well, if you could choose. It's nice here. I don't think I would choose some other place if I could. Here it's like you are becoming another person. That wasn't how I saw it. What do you mean another person? It's just that there's so many possibilities. You can learn so much, meet so many new interesting people here. Now she started to sound like our chief, which raised a red flag for me. I decided to stop with the questions for now. When we came back, Olga Dmitrievna told Slavia, I just remembered that the cards were at your place. It's okay, we got it. Good, good. Slavia and Olga Dmitrievna went inside. I was going to follow, but someone grabbed my hand. Alisa. Her gaze sent a shiver down my spine. Not a nice one. You want something? I asked carefully. You're going to play this stupid game? Yes. Something wrong with that? No, nothing. She was turning to leave, but then slowly looked back and smiled. So you play cards? A little. I couldn't figure out what she wanted. So only Durak, and that's it. Durak, card game popular in USSR, similar to President. As if you're a poker star. Well, yes, technically. And you don't have a chance. Why? Because. So you know the rules. Of course. Well, then you'll have the upper hand. I couldn't see why would we go on talking and motion towards the door. Why do you keep trying to leave? Is there something else you'd like to talk about? Let's make a bet. What do you mean? You're such a slowpoke. The cards, what else? And what do you want to bet on? That I'll win. That's quite a possible outcome. Agreed calmly. So, are you afraid? No, I'm not. I'm not big on bets when I don't like my chances. And you're not big on taking risks too. Such an astute observation. I'm impressed. Right. Then No, you're not. Now what? I sighed in exhaustion. She was starting to annoy me with her rubbish talk about some pointless bet. If you want bet with me, I'll tell everyone that you tried to seduce me. Okay, that's getting nasty. What? You heard me. I could imagine her doing this. Don't be stupid. Who's gonna believe you? I've been here less than 2 days. Besides, want to try your luck? Right, and what will happen if I win? I won't tell anyone anything. And if I lose? Slowpoke mode again? I'll tell everyone you tried to seduce me. I told you already. So you're telling me that I have to work to prove that I didn't do something when I didn't actually do it. If that's how you want to look at it. Not a simple decision. On the one hand, it was stupid to agree. I didn't know the rules and gambling wasn't my thing. On the other hand, she could really make my life hell. And then again, can I even trust her? She can do it even if I win. So, have you made a decision? I was going to answer, but suddenly Lena came around me from behind. What? Nothing? Lena hurried inside. So we can bet with her or not bet with her? And since I don't like negotiating with terrorists, and I don't like her attitude, no. No, I'm not going to participate in your shady business. Sorry about that. You wuss. She shrugged and went up the stairs. Before she went inside, she flung at me, prepare to face the consequences. Consequences? What if I made the wrong decision? I didn't. After all, she can really complicate things for me here. On the other hand, I just couldn't allow myself to be pulled into something so reckless. I let out a heavy sigh and followed her through the door. Inside, everything was ready. A few pioneers stood here and there chatting. Tables were moved out of the way to make room for players and spectators. There's even going to be spectators, huh? I looked around. Something was going on in the far corner. When I came closer, I saw a large piece of paper with a diagram drawn on it. My name was among the players. So that must be us. We're playing. That's supposed to be the shy girl, Lena, right? Okay then. And who came up with all of this? I patted Electronic, who was standing near. Well, of course, it was your most humble servant. He bowed to me jokingly. This made me uncomfortable to the point of squirming. And why in the world am I among the players then? I was disappointed. A few seconds ago I thought I still had a slim chance to evade the tournament. Then I wouldn't have to fear Alyssa's revenge for not betting with her. But now that hope was gone. It was pure coincidence. You're right, coincidence, except that I was already acquainted with every one of the contestants. While there were a few dozen other pioneers standing in the room, I was seized by anxiety. It's the feeling of being watched while standing in an empty room with no windows and doors. Will there be a prize? I asked him lazily. I wanted to distract myself with a pointless conversation. Electronic was just about to answer when Uliana came out of nowhere and started jumping around him. Prizes, prizes! I heard something about prizes. Do you know what is the main ethos of the Olympic Games? It's not the winning, but the taking part that counts. What? No? You'll understand when you grow up. So how much younger is she than the others? She made a wry face and jabbed Electronic in the ribs. So what about the prize? Well, I don't know. It's not up to me. He made a helpless gesture. Really, if they came up with this stupid game, at least they could give the winner a chocolate medal or something. Uliana suddenly jumped and raced off to somewhere. I wish I was that optimistic. So what about the rules? Wait a bit. Not everyone is here yet. I looked around canteen. Alyssa, Slavia, Lena, Miko and Shurik were here. It seems like everyone is here. Not everyone. Zhenya isn't here. Does he feel uneasy or is it just me? She's not here, so what? Pick someone else instead. No, I can't do that, he answered slowly. I decided not to ask exactly why can't he do this. Well, go fetch her or something, I don't know. He can't go, he's the host of the event. The camp leader appeared as if from nowhere. But Olga Dmitrievna, Electronic, whined. Semyon will go. Right, Semyon? She looked at me and smiled. Of course, who else? Where is she? In the library, I guess. Okay. I dragged my feet towards the door. Please hurry. What's Electronic's problem anyway? Night is coming soon. I was going to take my time, so I slowly paced towards the library. But I found Zhenya before I even expected. She was sitting on a bench at the square, staring at Genda, who was silent as always. What are you doing here? Everyone is looking for you. Sitting here, as you can see. She frowned. Well, let's go. I don't want to. She looked away. Why not? I don't want to. I sat beside her. Listen, I don't like the idea of this contest myself, but we can't let everyone down. Dude, what's the big deal with this tournament? If you don't wanna play, don't fucking play. And don't force her. Jesus Christ. I surely didn't sound like myself there. Yeah. A couple of days ago, I wouldn't even think of saying something like that. Zhenya looked at me with surprise on her face. So everyone is waiting for me? Isn't that exactly what I said? Yes. I won't go anyway. She frowned and hid her face. But why? I gestured with my arms, wondering. I don't know how to play cards. So what? Same problem here. Then how can you play? What? You can only do things that you read about in books or something? Of course. She was surprised. And what if you end up in Antarctica and have to rely on hunting polar bears to survive? Polar bears? Polar bears don't live in Antarctica. Exactly. Zhenya smiled. Doesn't matter, it's just an example. Come on, it's not like someone's life depends on it, on the result. She took her time to think. I just don't want to let anyone down. Right. I agreed sarcastically. And don't you think anything funny about that? I didn't get what she meant, but anyway, I didn't get it either. Obviously everyone has their weak spots. In a minute we both were back at the canteen. Everyone looked at Electronic. So, he cleared his throat. Each round consists of one game. In case of a draw, you replay the game. After this, the loser drops out and the next round begins. Since the number of volunteers, he looked at me. Since the number of players is just 8, we'll have only 3 rounds. Is everything clear? The crowd cheered. What about the prizes? The prizes, what are they? Uliana, cut it out. Slavia stepped forward and tried to catch Uliana. I won't rest until the prize is mine. Seemed like this girl alone had enough energy for a warp jump to Alpha Centauri. Prizes, prizes! She repeated it over and over. Stop it. Slavia tried to reason with her. Electronic seemed to be getting dizzy from all the running around. Let's start already, I said calmly, and added to Uliana. Shit, I clicked too fast. Looks like my argument got through to her, so she took her place. Something about the prizes, that she won't get any prizes if she doesn't sit down. Slavia followed her, giving me a grateful smile as she passed. The pioneers finally settled down. I approached the table that Lena sat behind. You don't mind? She looked up and blushed. Don't worry, I don't know the rules myself. And how can I be sure that it's not only myself? I sat down. Turns out we'll have to play the first round together. Yes. Finally, Electronic started to explain the rules. Play the tutorial, skip the tutorial. Nah, we'll skip it. We'll go along with the flow. Electronic, who was silently watching our game, the tutorial game, probably, nodded in approval. Looks like now we're getting somewhere. Now during the round, opponents trade cards 3 times, keep an eye on each other, penetrate your opponent with your eyes. Penetrate your opponent with your eyes. What does that even mean? I chuckled. Penetrate. What's so funny? Oh, never mind. I tried to keep a straight face. He stared at me for a moment, then moved on. And then we turned the cards up to see whose hand is better. So we exchange cards and the person with the higher card wins. Is that it? Electronic went back to his diagram. So let's play the tournament. And what do I do? We exchange cards. Whose turn? My turn. She wants this card from me. It's my highest card, so I'll exchange it. She still wants this one. I'll take this one. I'll take this one. She's hiding it. Not anymore. Let's take this one then. Yes, it's an ace. She wants my 8. No, she wants my... Okay. So I want a card. This one. This one. And this one. Okay. What? Fail? But I've got an ace. Ah, she got an ace too. Eh? Ah, whatever. Seems like we've lost. Eh. Fine. It's still frustrating to lose anyway. Ah, doesn't matter. We didn't want to play anyway, right? I left the canteen. It was still too early to sleep, and a short walk looked like a good idea. Where should I head to? Where should we go? Damn, I don't know. We are here. Where weren't we yet? Did we go here? I don't remember. I wanted to get away. How could I ever lose in the first round? There was no excuse for me. The sports ground seemed to be the best place to go to be alone at the moment. Who would think about playing soccer in the evening? I sat down on a bench near the pitch and started to think about what had happened. Suddenly from the volleyball field side I started hearing sounds that seemed to me like sounds of rasping or whistling. Turning, I saw someone desperately swinging his hand. Who is he gesturing to? To my astonishment, it was Lena. She was throwing the shuttlecock up in the air and attempting to strike it with a racket. However, to be really honest, she sucked at badminton. She sucked at badminton. I was just watching for a while, but then decided to go up to her. I went around the volleyball court and got inside so that she could see me. Lena was as timid as a deer, so I'd rather not repeat previous mistakes. Hi. She glanced at me and immediately hid the racket and the shuttlecock behind her back. You like badminton? Not really. I see you're not really getting it. Maybe you want some help? To tell the truth, I was not very good at badminton, but just like any other child, I used to play it from time to time. Like any child, huh? I must not have been a child then. Let me show you. Thank you. She blushed. I want to join the badminton team, but I don't see it happening really. I wouldn't even try today, but... She looked up at me. I never have any luck at cards, but seemed like I was on fire today, so I thought it could be the same with badminton. After these words, I realized that losing to Lena is doubly upsetting. I would never think of you as being so keen on sports. She blushed again. Oh, excuse me. Come on, let me show you. I took the racket, threw the shuttlecock up in the air, and struck it with such strength that it flew over the fence and got lost among the trees. Oh, I'm sorry. Wow, didn't expect that from myself. Never mind. Although it was the last one. Last one, let's go get it. We'd better not. There is, in the forest. What's in there? A goblin? I laughed out loud. Maybe. It seemed like I was the only one jogging around. There's no one there to be afraid of. Come on. Well, if you are with me. We went out of the sports ground and I started to inspect the trees. All of a sudden, the screech of an owl pierced the night. Lena got so scared that she seized me with both hands, giving me something like a hug. That's a strange picture. The strong grip was a bit awkward. To feel a girl's body and its warmth so close to me, I was filled with tenderness. I had a deep desire to protect her and to guard her from anyone, even if it's only an owl or another night bird. My only wish was to let this embrace last forever. However, all good things must come to an end sooner or later. After a while, I realized that it was an owlet and was screeching on a branch next to us. It was holding our shuttlecock tightly. Is that what you were so scared of? Uh-huh. Take a look, it isn't scary at all. Lena looked out from behind my back. You're right, not scary at all. Hey, wait a second. I gently got out of her hug and came closer to the owlet. At first it seemed that it'd get frightened and fly away, dropping the shuttlecock. But the owlet was still perching there. I succeeded in grasping the shuttlecock and carefully taking it from the bird. Hey, look, it's almost tame. Would you like to pet it? Maybe some other time? I handed the shuttlecock to Lena. Thank you. She smiled gently. I have to go. Good luck at badminton. Lena smiled again and hurried away to the camp. How sweet can a girl get? For the first time today, I finally felt how tired I was. There was no light in the window, so Olga Dmitrievna must have been sleeping already. Strangely enough, she waited for me yesterday. I entered the cabin, quietly stripped and laid on the bed. When you think about it, my situation hadn't gotten any clearer today. In fact, I've spent the whole day doing useless stuff. I would have never even thought about doing something like this in the real world. Although I had plenty of time, how much time I would have here in total is still a mystery. Maybe an eternity, or maybe there are only a few minutes left. I just didn't want to think about the past, about how I got to this camp. For the first time in a long while I felt really tired. Not only emotionally tired, but also physically tired, psychologically tired, and God knows how else tired. I just wanted everyone and everything to shove off, starting with my own thoughts. I wanted this mess somehow resolved by itself. Or at least without my active participation. And what if I'm stuck here forever? Then I'll have to get used to it. So just like that, I am not ready. My consciousness slowly drifted away from me, and it became progressively harder to concentrate on something distinct. Perhaps it's better to wait until tomorrow. I rolled over and fell asleep. And that concludes day 2. So we'll come back to it and to day 3 next time. Till then.